So when we first arrived, there was a huge rat snake that came over our gate, and I thought, how are we going to live here? And first couple of times we had snakes in the house. It was a bit of a panic situation. Now I just take a stick and put him in the bucket. And last night I found one.
Yeah, and they were
There's
having
this,
a look
yeah,
and
so I found that snake in
photographing
my
the
bathroom
house.
and put it in the bucket, and so
I
you get
did
used
tell
to
them
it.
it was from the bathroom. Anurag and I both worked in research labs, and we decided to step out of the lab and do something with land. And so we drove south. We were both working in an institute in Delhi, and we drove south all down the length of the country and found this little place. I think what really attracted us was the forest area, and we're still here.
We came here in '94 and bought this property, which was a neglected place. And since then, we've nurtured it and done everything organically and built up everything. There was almost nothing here when we came, including the houses, all the structures you see, have all been built from scratch. This had all the wilderness, streams, and we loved this place, but it had no infrastructure at all. So we had to build the driveway, the house. So in that sense, the first years were very difficult, first 5, 7 years.
He's more mature. She's the youngest. He's the oldest. We were lab people. So when we came here, we really didn't know anything about growing cardamom or coffee or pepper. Wherever there is scope for landscaping, we've let a lot of wilderness remain in plants. So like these anthuriums, and all these are native species that already exist here.
So it was a lot of work building up everything, replanting. We replanted a lot of cardamom. We've added other crops. There was a little bit of coffee. We put more coffee. We introduced things like vanilla. So we wanted to diversify as much as we can. Plus also not remove the canopy, because that's what we came for. The fear of nature wasn't really there. I think people used to say that also when they came as guests. No, aren't you afraid to live here? I said, I'm more afraid in Delhi. People are much more difficult to deal with. This whole perception and thing of fear of nature, that comes through city people and upbringing. No, a lot of families come and they tell their kids, and like when my mother comes here, said, "You live in the jungle." All this, how can you live here? And so this perception is built up by people. No, there's really not much to be afraid of here. The more you understand nature, the more you can appreciate it.
One becomes more accepting of a lot of things the way they are, and our initial tendency, especially in the field, was to try and change things or make things more work efficient, labor efficient. And there comes a point where you realize that there are some things one can change and some things that one just has to follow. This is a goat shed, and these are made from dry mud bricks, all adobe bricks. And that is Junior Juno, who's the younger sister, and she's going to kids soon.
So this whole perception that organic farming is not viable has been built up because there was no research done really on organic farming over the last 50, 100 years, no? And now if you look at, people have looked into, done proper research, field studies. I think Sujata was showing you one of those books, that organic farming can give you the same yields, if not better. And it's better for the soil, it's more sustainable for long term. So all these conventional farming things are very short-term goals. You're destroying the soil, you're destroying the environment, like what happened in Punjab, no?
All through these years, we have visited so many farms, and not only in our country. Never one organic farm where the yields are not bountiful. They're always baskets full of whatever's being grown as a crop.
If you just say, for example, I'm going to become an organic farmer and I stop putting urea without doing all the other things, of course, your yields will go down and you'll be in financial trouble. So even when you're doing the transition, you're removing urea, but you have to supply that with other compost. Cow urine, cow dung, you make all these preparations, no? Jeevamrut, all these various things to feed the plants.
Given that we have evolved to such a state where we are seeing all the damage that the chemical industry has brought into our agricultural fields, what does it take for people to turn this whole thing around and say, we're going to stop applying toxin.
Once the consumers start demanding better and cleaner food, then I think it'll happen. Because all our government policies are basically geared towards helping corporates take over agriculture. That's the sad part of it.
The forest has many methods of putting life back into life. All the nutrients come back and they recycle. And that recycling is the true meaning of sustainability, self-sustainability. Otherwise, it's just becoming a catchword. And I think all our farming principles and whatever we created here was based on that principle. How do we put life back into our cropping systems?
We want to find a balance between nature and agriculture, which has been our goal.